7. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning. This is Bill Kraus on the Roundtable with the music overlapping. Have a beautiful week ahead as we're rapidly entering the summertime. In fact, yesterday proved to me that summer is more than around the corner. It's right here. We're very, very delighted to have a gentleman calling in from Hendersonville, Mr. Bryson McCarley. Bryson's daytime job, or I should probably say daytime, evening, and weekend job, is the State Farm agent up there in Sumner County. Good morning, Bryson.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Oh, it's a great day. So
Always like to initially ask our guests a little bit of background of them, where you were born, where you were raised, schooled, how long you've been with State Farm, life in itself, before we talk about the nonprofit Doing Good.
Gotcha. So I am originally from West Tennessee, a small town called Middleton, Tennessee. That's where most of my family was born and raised, and I actually came to Middle Tennessee to go to Middle Tennessee State University there in Murfreesboro, and I graduated from there. And very soon after, I found State Farm, and State Farm found me. So I began working in the operations center there. And then, funny story, within 2 weeks of me being with the company, I told my, at that point, girlfriend, but my wife now, I told her I'm going to retire with this company.
Wow.
And she's like, you only been there 2 weeks. Like, what are you talking about? And it was just something about the company. I felt at home. Like I said, I was born in West Tennessee. My grandfather has been a pastor pretty much all my life. And so I grew up with that experience of community and knowing a good place when I see it. So, and that's what I found when I found State Farm. And so now I've owned my agency for 16 years.
Wow.
And we are, again, in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And, I'm just enjoying this ride, I guess.
But you're the good neighbor, right?
That's right.
Tell me about Doing Good. We had a other person involved with Doing Good on the Roundtable some months ago, and she said you would be a wonderful person to talk about Doing Good. Just the name itself puts a nice feeling on us this morning.
That's right. And through Doing Good, they featured me in a interview that they did as well. But I connected with them because at my office, State Farm's, our slogan is, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And I just embodied that through my agency. So I have a program through my agency we call Be the Good Neighbor. And through Be the Good Neighbor, that's how I connected with Doing Good. But the whole mission is to inspire people to use their gifts and talents and just do good to help others. I don't believe that you got to try to change the world. If you work on changing your household, changing your neighborhood, changing your community, then we can feel the impact. So,
Can you think of some particular success stories from this Reach Out program that can be applied not only to Hendersonville and Sumner County, but Murfreesboro and Laverne and Smyrna, all places within Rutherford County?
Yeah. So one of the things that I've done through Be the Good Neighbor is through my agency in 2022, we actually, I own a barbecue business as well.
Oh, wow.
And barbecue is my God-given passion. So I've been cooking since I was 7 years old. So now I give away a lot of food in the community.
Do you share?
And
Do you share? Do you share your secrets of what you actually put on those sauces?
oh no, we got to keep the sausage secret.
I understand.
But I love to see people enjoy good food. So, so in 2022, through my office, we set out on a mission to feed all the teachers in Hendersonville at
Wow.
every school. And, as a small business owner, I mean, at that point, I think, our agency, it was a team of 3. I would take myself and another one of my team members, and we would go into the school and set up like a teacher appreciation. And it would just be during their lunch hours, set the teacher appreciation up and, just give them food and a couple of giveaways and just give them a smile. Because through the COVID times, I realized how important our teachers are and, how and the things that they do. So we just felt that let's touch every teacher here. So throughout that year, we ended up touching over 1,700
Wow.
teachers and staff, in our education industry. So I felt like that was something, within my power that I could do, and I could impact a lot of people. So
And did you actually personally cook all of the ribs?
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
I personally cooked. Yeah, all of the food I cooked, I paid for. I fully funded that. But I do that as an encouragement to other business owners and people in the community. It doesn't take a lot. You can go to one school and just buy lunch one day, or do something to do good and let people know that they are appreciated.
You could expand that. And I don't mean you personally, but the concept can be expanded, and I'm certainly other more brilliant people have thought about it. You can expand that to feed police, firefighters, first responders,
Yeah.
Anybody who's out there serving the public above and beyond.
That is right. Yeah, and we've done also to our local fire halls, being able to drop off food there. And like I said, just try to give them a smile as well, because their role is so important in our community. With me being a State Farm agent, we are there, in some people's worst point in their lives, when that
Yes.
house fire is totally destroyed everything that they have. We're there, with the first responders and helping the people walk through that. So I think that is, a special place in my heart for first responder.
Well, I will tell you, without giving this as a commercial, I will tell you in my personal experience with State Farm as a property owner of quite a bit of rental units, I cannot think of a better company that follows immediately through its client base when there is a tragedy. And from my own personal experience, State Farm is certainly number one on that score.
Oh, yes. And that's one of the things, even when we had the tornadoes back in December here in Hendersonville, I activated my office, and we have about a year ago, I purchased a trailer so that we can be more active in the community, where we could pull up anywhere and feed and serve the community. So we actually got a chance to activate that this past December. One of the, we had several households without power, so we were able to take a hot meal. It was a cold night, but we was able to give them a hot meal and at least try to help them through that night. So,
That is fantastic. How aware are you of the organization doing good? I know we had some background of it shared when the other lady was here, but how much information do you have or know about the doing good on its overall purpose and objectives?
Gotcha. My exposure to doing good has been limited. Like I said, I did do a interview and some content with them before, but that's probably to the extent of my knowledge on that.
Now, do you see, it's always interesting when you're reaching out to people and you do this wonderful program like you did in 2022 with the teachers. Do you anticipate a repeat of that same outreach with the teachers in 2024 or 2025?
We do. We've kind of evolved and changed. So last year, so in 22 we did teachers. In 2023, we went after supporting local nonprofits. So we did events such as we partnered, say, with Walmart and back in my hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and the employees of Walmart put their funds together and to purchase food, and I was able to cook the food, and we sold the food for donations for La Bonheur Hospital. So we were in that, I think, a 4-hour period, we were able to raise like $3,000 for La Bonheur Hospital, and we Walmart was able to give that donation. So we kind of took on the model of we want to help people that's helping people last year. So for the last year, we were able to take $18,000 and turn it into $122,000
Wow.
in donations, and we gave that to, I think we impacted 21 local nonprofits and community organizations.
It would be interesting, and I'm certain that this is not necessarily in a procedure or policy book or a notebook or what have you, but if this model that you've created and successfully implemented, if this model was available to other counties and cities and communities, not only in Middle Tennessee, you can see this thing expanded nationwide, where you see the local state farm agencies, or you see a community group say thank you to their teachers and their first responders, etc. But look at how it multiplies. I mean, talk about the multiplication of what you raised of 18,000 and what it developed into. I mean, that is just amazing. I've got a slogan for you next time you do a teacher's appreciation.
All right, what you got?
I've got come and rib your teachers. And you could also say, but I'm sure people who are dog owners may disagree with me, when we used to have dogs, I mean, they loved those rib bones, but I'm told by some that they could possibly choke on them, so I ought not be recommending. But, I guess I could say, after you're done with your ribs, take the remainers and make your dog happy, too.
Yeah.
Make your dog a State Farm supporter.
Support.
Absolutely. What do you serve besides the ribs? What's some of your specialties?
Most smoked chicken, brisket. I do an array. Again, cooking is one of my passions, so it's kind of my stress relief. Cooking is, so I just get in there and create. But I love cooking, of course, ribs and chicken and anything on the grill smoked. So.
I'm always thinking of business models and so forth and marketing and what have you. And I'm not suggesting this, but it just comes to mind. I'm certain that you have a client base that just think the world of you and think that you're not only a agent of their auto and home and other related insurance coverage, but also just a friend. Have you ever thought of year anniversary, bring a nice dinner to your client?
Oh, yeah, we have. So that is one benefit, yeah. From time to time, we do events at the office, and we actually just moved to a new location. So we've expanded, and now I'll be able to host more people at my office. So we've done things like cruise-ins, and typically about 2 to 3 times a year, we try to invite the clients in, and I'll cook. And because it's all about building the community. Like at our cruise-ins, the major, of course, I have the grill there, but I get my classic clients that own classic cars to bring their classic cars. Everybody brings their lawn chairs, and we play some music, and people just sit out and talk. Because I think these days, a lot of times we are, we can get so busy in the hustle and bustle of life that we forget to slow down and speak to that neighbor and to, and just connect with people.
Sure.
One event that really stuck out last year for me was we did a pool party at a local apartment complex. And again, we facilitated the opportunity for people to talk. And this one guy said, man, I just sat here and talked to my neighbor for an hour, and we've been living beside each other for 6 years.
Wow,
and
never met.
Never said anything more than hi.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I wanted to kind of change, if this is okay for you, and talk about the insurance business since you've been in it 16 years.
Yeah.
This is a comment, and it's not meant to be a political comment and so forth, but I was reading here recently. Of course, we all know that insurance rates have gone up significantly, primarily because of the natural disasters we've had, the fires and hurricanes, et cetera, et cetera. But this came to me as concern, and again, it's not meant to have a political agenda, but I guess I have to say it. If you have 10 million people in this country who are not here legally, and they buy cars, what is the odds of their buying cars and not buying auto insurance? And what will be the impact of the uninsured motorist problem in terms of being charged back to the owner of the vehicle who's the victim?
Gotcha. Yeah, and I guess from like you said, the 10 million cars, one of the things in certain states, and not all states are the same, but certain states, you do have to legally have insurance to get a license plate and to register your vehicle. So on the state levels, some different states have different guidelines according to that. But yeah, anytime, you can insure that vehicle. I think I hadn't looked into that area, but I'm sure there it could be an effect. But that's really not kind of the scope of where I operate. So.
Mm-hmm. In terms of building insurance, and I'm sure when you're visiting with your clients or prospective clients and so forth, you go over the various options. I've always been schooled on the thought that you only buy insurance to cover what you can't afford. And somebody says, no, I want to cover this car on 99%, so if I get a dent, I just file a claim. And unfortunately, and I always said this, and you may want to try to calculate it out sometime, if you went the highest deductible that you're provided, and you take the savings of premium between full coverage versus high deductible coverage, and you put that in a separate bank account drawing interest, would you be able to ultimately be self-insured with the savings of premium from what you would normally have paid for full coverage versus normally have taken the chance with a high deductible?
Gotcha. Yeah, and I do see some clients that try to implement that strategy, having a higher deductible. I think the basis of that is what's your emergency fund? Mm-hmm. Do you have funds sitting readily available that if you do have that accident, and say if you have a high deductible, say a $5,000 deductible, do you have that $5,000 to be able to cover that? Mm-hmm. And if you do have that, then that strategy could work for you financially because you would be saving premium, and based on that, you could lower your insurance rate, but still having the proper, the bigger issue is having the proper amount of liability coverage, because what you want to protect your assets against lawsuits. So having the proper amount of liability coverage is, I think, one of the most important things that happens. Because I've had clients come and say, yeah, I want to self-insure, but I'm like, do you know how much they're going to, if you have an accident, how much they're going to sue you for today? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Well, that's why we put an insurance policy. So if they do sue you for $1 million or whatever that may be, at least we got insurance policy to cover that instead of you trying to save all that and hold it liquid.
Exactly. And you also, and again, I had not realized, and you're so very well knowledgeable on this, so I always take full advantage of knowledge in order to share with our visitors on the roundtable. But do you also encourage people to take this blanket, and I use the term $1 million blanket, just to back up a normal insurance policy on home or car or what have you?
Yes, that is right. Yeah, and that's having the personal liability umbrella.
And they're very reasonable. The price is very reasonable.
Yes, they are. And one of the what they do, it is all about protection or building a wall. So you want to build a financial wall that mitigates some of the risks that could happen. So if you, like you said, if you did get that lawsuit, how big is your wall? From an auto and home standpoint, and then also a umbrella standpoint. Also through my agency, and I'm really big on empowering people, because in the insurance business, we don't have a tangible product. Clients are paying for peace of mind, that if something happens to them or it's that worst day, that we're going to be there to help them through it. And I tell my clients, hey, if something wakes you up in the middle of the night, you're worried about it, house catching on fire, or not having enough coverage on your auto, give us a call so we can make sure that we can provide that peace and make sure we have the proper coverage amount for you. Because our goal is to help people protect their assets today and help them grow their assets for tomorrow. So we do a lot of financial education on savings, budgeting, and just helping people get their financial house in order.
We'll be right back. We're having a wonderful chat with Bryson McCarley, meeting Bryson initially and his Doing Good program. And now we're talking about insurance, which is always of interest to me. Stand by. We'll be right back after these words.
The day starts early.
Loaded the sweet corn, the potatoes.
Just before sunrise.
Dad got the fresh cut bacon on there.
Farmers throughout Middle Tennessee prepare their load.
All right, guys, load them up.
Of what they're bringing to the farmers market.
Sounds like we're good to go.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market, a producer-only farmers market at the Rutherford County Lane Agri Park in Murfreesboro.
I'm so glad you guys are back.
We enjoy meeting our customers.
My daughter loves the sweet potatoes.
Well, thank you.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market open Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to noon at the Lane Agri Park on John R. Rice Boulevard.
Renewable natural gas is an incredible resource with the ability to power your home and lifestyle. At Middle Point, we've broken ground on a state-of-the-art facility that will capture natural gas on-site and repurpose it into sustainable pipeline-quality gas.
Once operational, this facility will produce enough energy to heat 40,000 homes per year.
Learn more about this at middlepointlandfill.com. For public services, we are sustainability in action.
Hey there, you don't know me, but I was standing behind you the other morning in line, remember? You thought about buying that Tennessee Lottery instant game, but changed your mind. Well, I just wanted to say thank you. I bought it and won big. Pretty annoying, right? But don't worry, I'll bring you back a t-shirt from the Bahamas.
Don't miss your chance to win up to $500,000 with the new May Instant Games. Plus, earn 5 times VIP rewards points on all multiplier games in May, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Hi, this is Bob Cornell, pastor of Covenant Church right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The answer that you've been looking for is found in Jesus and what he accomplished at the cross. You see, Jesus changes lives from the inside out. We would love for you to join us at Covenant Church, located at 1124 Brinkley Ave right here in Murfreesboro. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You can learn more about us at our Cornell Ministries YouTube channel. We want you to grow in Christ at Covenant Church.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
Get ready for an incredible opportunity. On Friday, June 14th, the city of Murfreesboro is teaming up with the American Job Center to host a career fair like no other. Head to the Murfreesboro Civic Plaza near Vine and South Church Street, where employers will be ready to meet you and discuss exciting job opportunities.
It's so important to shop local. Let's patronize our local family businesses. And of course, WGNS also encourages you to listen local. Don't miss Simply Smyrna, 5:30 until 9 this Saturday night, right there at the Train Depot District in Smyrna. Plus, the International Folk Fest performances will be there. And that's this Saturday night. There's some free computer classes offered by the Rutherford County Library System, and these classes are over at the Technology Engagement Center at 306 Minerva Drive. They're free. And don't forget the Career Fair right up on the Murfreesboro Civic Plaza. 30 employers from various industries will be there. The free Career Fair is Friday, June 14th, 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon on the Murfreesboro Civic Plaza. Don't throw away Old Glory. Bring your American flag to WGNS and let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Mostly sunny skies here this afternoon, high in the upper 80s. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 59. Friday, sunshine, high around 83 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 77.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. MTE serves members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
This is Bill Kraus once again with a second segment of the Roundtable on a beautiful Thursday morning. Going to be a little warm this afternoon, but this is summertime. And we're having a delightful visit with Bryson McCarley. Bryson is a State Farm agent up in Sumner County in Hendersonville. And we've been talking the last few minutes insurance, because that's a topic that affects everybody's budget, whether they know it or not, directly or indirectly. But before we do that, I do want to introduce my grandson, Zachary Thomas, who's interning for WGNS. And if it's all right, Bryson, Zach has a question for you.
All right.
Good morning, Bryson.
Morning.
So I guess the one constant that's been throughout our entire conversation so far this morning has been community. Over your 16 years, how have you built your community outreach through just when you started off and now to where you are today?
Yeah, when I first started, my first original location was in Madison, Tennessee, and when we moved here, again, I went to MTSU, so I knew some people in Rutherford County, but I didn't know a lot of people on this side of Nashville. So again, in the nature of my business, we are in the community, and so I'm meeting and talking to people every day. So we began to build a community there. Then we ended up buying a house here in Hendersonville. So I moved the agency to Hendersonville in 2020. But in 2020 was really kind of the awakening for me, as far as, we went through COVID, and I really connected with the purpose and the community during that time period. And that really made me dive in. And again, we started giving back more here in Hendersonville and in the local community from that. So I think really that time in isolation, or us, being shut down and transitioning, I think it really helped me to refocus and say, like, okay, what kind of impact do I really want to have here? And now we've been able to definitely see the fruit of that labor. So
that is phenomenal. Back to the insurance, and Zach, you can be thinking of some additional questions if they come to mind. Back to the insurance, probably a terrible thing to say about where you are and where you're located, but it almost seems like Hendersonville and Sumner County always are in the path of tornadoes. They may be heading east from Memphis, and they somewhat bypass Nashville in most cases and head north and then east. And you guys get far more, tragically, than we may even experience here south of Nashville in Rutherford County. Is that a concern?
No, not a major concern. I think, and we do a comparison to, what they call Tornado Alley, the Kansas and the, out in that area. I don't, for me, it doesn't feel like we're abnormally have incidents. But the thing about tornadoes is, it could touch down in one spot and not touch 2 or 3 miles, and then next thing you know, you have total destruction again. So I think the sporadicness of it is something, and that's why I tell people we got to be prepared. We got to have plans in place for families that, hey, if we're seeing these events happen, how are we going to recover, and what aid and what resources do we have to be there for the people?
Do you have and I guess I would use the term checkoff list of what the homeowner or the home occupant may be, because we're also talking to people who are renting rather than owning, and they're just as susceptible to loss in another way than the owner of the property. But do you have a checkoff that a family should look at their house, not just whether the smoke detectors have their batteries updated, but the question is, are there trip and fall possibilities? Is there a computer line or a plug that somebody could trip over? Is there a tool left out in the front yard, a rake, and somebody's entering the house and the rake hits them in the head when they hit it? Is there a checkoff list, or possibly an emergency list? What happens in time of emergency, not just having your own shelter in your home, but do you have a call list of people to double check if they're not at home during a tragedy, of who to call? How do you take care of your pets in time of tragedy and emergency? Yeah, and so I think definitely being prepared is the way to go, to kind of pre-plan any of these things. Like I recommend that people, as far as knowing what personal property you have, and just think, if you had a complete house fire, you're not going to remember that you had, this lamp sitting on the end of the table, or you're not going to remember the small intricate details of everything that you had. So I always recommend people take your cell phone, go in each room, do a video 360, just spin around, and save that, back that up in your cloud or wherever. So if you ever need to see, what did I have in the living room? Now you can know what items you had and what items the insurance company should replace. Whereas, again, monitoring your smoke alarms, your carbon monoxide monitors, and all those things are helpful. And there is one technology that we have, Safe Farmers partnered with a company called Ting. And how do you spell that? Ting? Ting? Yes, Ting. That sounds like a smoke detector that's not working. You hear the ting. Yeah, but what this device does, it plugs in. I actually have it in my house as well, but it plugs in to one of your outlets, and it connects to your cell phone, so it has an app, but it monitors the electric currents of your house. So it can tell you, or if you're having electric power surges, or if anything is off or abnormal, it'll notify you straight to your app. So even if your power goes off, as soon as your power goes off, you'll get a notification on your phone that, hey, service has been interrupted, please check, So little devices and technology like that, I think, can go a long way in helping us be prepared for disasters. I know what we do at our house, we have flashlights in certain locations that always stay there. And I empower my children to, hey, go check the flashlights, make sure they're where they need to be, because in a storm, we need to have access to those. So, carried one step further when you said take a picture of each of the room. Many families, and they may not realize the value of it, many families have family heirlooms, items that have been left from generation to generation. not watching a auction show on TV or what have you, but they may totally underestimate the value of that silverware that was given from a grandparent, or that vase that was given from a uncle or what have you. And the question is, do a written inventory as well as your photo inventory with estimated value, because the insurance company may say, well, that just looks like a spoon, fork, and knife. Well, that spoon, fork, and knife is from the 19th century. It's got to at least identify it. It's literally learn and know what your house represents. And you may have value in there. You may have a book that's autographed, and the book in the shelf may look like, oh, it's just another book, but it was autographed by the author, and that book may be worth $500 rather than $10 on the Goodwill. So literally, take the time and go through and inventory everything within your house. Not how many paper clips I have in the little dish, but literally inventory. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I actually had a scenario to where there was a client that had a old football and baseball card collection from his childhood, and, hadn't picked them up, hadn't touched them in 20, 25 years. Just decided one day to do a little Google searching and see some of the value of the cards. He ended up having over a $20,000 collection.
It's very easy. Now you've reminded me with my kids, who I'm sure still have the baseball collections, believe it or not, from the 1960s and 1970s, what that value may be. Zach, have you made a note of that?
I haven't yet, but Mom's talked about it some. I don't know where she keeps it, but
I hope in a safe place that's free of fire. And, we also have to remember, fire is not the only danger to a house. Burglary is a danger to a house, and a break-in. And the queries...
Yep, break-in and water damage. We've seen, severe cases of water damage, and there's all type of things, that can happen. And that's why I always lead with, hey, let's be proactive. Let's just take 5 minutes and let's just think through a scenario. And if you think through it, and you can try to identify any gaps that you may see on the front end. And again, we can't protect against everything, but I think at least being somewhat prepared is definitely better than not being prepared at all. So,
do you have, and this would be from your personal experience as well as your insurance experience, many of fires that occur in homes are resulting from the kitchen. And do you have specific recommendations of how people should treat the kitchen? Here you're cooking ribs. Does somebody cook something and the fire breaks out on the stove or breaks out in the microwave, and suddenly they don't know how to put it out, and the fire will move much faster than even calling 911?
That's right. Yeah, I definitely recommend having that fire extinguisher in the kitchen, and also having one close to the kitchen, because depending on where that fire may start, it may be close to the fire extinguisher where you need to go to the other. And also taking precautions. It's something I heard when I was young, and it's always stuck with me. It's saying, when you're cooking in the kitchen, stay in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Don't answer the phone if the phone's not there. Or don't get concentrating on the phone if the cook is cooking.
Yeah. So that has always stood out to me, and that is, how, ways to prevent is just, hey, let's, not be distracted and focus on what we're focusing on. So, yeah.
Do you meet any time a family has a new addition to the family, a brand new baby, or could say a new pet? That might be also what's your house damage when that new puppy decides to enjoy chewing pillows and blankets and what have you. But do you necessarily, or not necessarily as a practice, will meet with the new family after they've had a brand new baby, that their life has changed not only with a baby, but their life has changed financially and protective-wise?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, being one of the things that's near and dear to me is protecting the families from life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing that I dived in naturally as far as from a educational standpoint. Several years ago, I went back to school and got my chartered financial consultant designation, and that was so I could better serve my clients. So we protect through life insurance. I think that is the most important product that we provide is life insurance, because I've been able to be there for families, like I said, on that worst day, being able to give a family a hug and deliver a check for them because of that loss of a loved one, I think is the most noble piece of what we do. So definitely new clients, we talk to them once that baby's born, what is it, like day 14 is when we can write policies. That's when we recommend getting some coverage in place. And then we use a lot of life insurance as well, cash value life insurance, to set people up for the future as well. And then we utilize a term insurance to take care of the major expenses and the things that they need right now from a life insurance perspective.
You triggered off a memory that I hadn't thought of in years and years and years, and it probably would be the one positive in a negative environment, selling insurance. I was city manager of a number of communities in Southern California for a number of years. And I remember the second city that I was city manager of, I was very much for the city purchasing major life insurance on employees, plus the retirement process that was through the state of California. And I remember had a young man, probably in his early 30s, perfect health and so forth, and he drops dead. And needless to say, the family was totally, totally devastated. But I can always remember going to the house that afternoon to meet the widow and the children hours after the employee passed away. And needless to say, the house was chaotic in emotion. But beyond the fact, I said, I don't know if you realize that your husband was well covered by the city of Los Alamitos. And I specifically said, this is not the time, but at least to take this one burden off. What will I do now? And the insurance coverage was that significant that the return on it pretty much maintained their lifestyle in terms of financially. And I always thought, what a wonderful way to be contributing in times of tragedy, to be contributing to a well-being of a family that just suffered a horrible tragedy.
Yeah, and definitely. And that is, when I think about that, for me, and I'll speak from me and my family and what I believe, but if something were to happen to me, I want my children and my wife to be able to continue on the same standard of living or even better.
You don't want to say better, do you? Watch those pancakes tomorrow.
No, well, and how I think about it is, it's like, hey, if they're living a better life, then they're gonna know, like,
God bless them.
Dad did the right thing by helping, setting us up for success. So, but I'm big on that legacy, and I believe in generational wealth, and that, a good man should leave an inheritance for his children's children. So with that, that is what I try to lead my clients in that direction as well, is making sure we're helping the family financially and establishing wealth. For those ones that are interested in wealth building and generational wealth, we're here to help them with that. So
we'll be right back. We're having a wonderful chat with Bryson McCarley, meeting him originally from Reaching Out in the Doing Good program, which we want to go back to a couple more comments. But we've got to take a break right now. Stand by, and we shall return.
All right.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Hey guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Be sure to schedule your health assessment at Low T Center. For established patients, they offer the convenience of physician-monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments with an average payment of $150 a month cash pay, including labs and medication. If you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy, shipping treatments directly to you. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Spring has sprung, and that means it's time to start planning for your summer road trips. With Bud's Tire Pros by your side, your vehicle will be ready to see the mountains, the beaches, and everything in between. With Bud's Tire Pros' full line of Michelin tires and products, you'll have the peace of mind to hit the road no matter what you drive. Bud's Tire Pros is only 3.5 miles from the Murfreesboro Square. Call Bud's Tire Pros at 896-TIRE or online, Bud's Tire Pros, TN.com.
Swing into summer with Friday Night Live in downtown Murfreesboro, June 7th.
Music City Swing will bring the beat with their 20-piece band, playing your big band favorites. This free event is proudly sponsored by Wilson Bacon Trust.
Don't miss out June 7th, Friday night downtown is a chance to live it up.
Friday Night Live, your summer soundtrack.
Brought to you by Main Street Murfreesboro.
Shop small and support your local downtown businesses in 2024.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
This is Bill Kraus on the final segment of a wonderful visit and conversation with Bryson and McCarley. And Bryson reached us, or we reached Bryson through a recommendation that he was a strong supporter of the Doing Good program up in his neck of the woods. Even though you're out of the area, Bryson, why don't you give your telephone number that if people said, hey, that gentleman on the radio really had a lot of good things to say, share your number, so if anybody wants to write it down, this is their opportunity.
Yes, our number is 615-868-4000.
One more time for the listener who didn't quite get the second zero.
Yes, sir, 615-868-4000.
Talk about timing. We're talking about life insurance, and I did not realize that one of the sponsors was an online calling the life insurance company. If you heard the commercial right after, Zach has a question on life insurance.
Okay.
Now, in I guess to talk about life insurance, it's not necessarily a policy for now; it's a policy for the future. What do you see rates, coverages, and then also with your own personal community outreach program? What do you see for the future in the next 5-10 years?
Gotcha. With life insurance, there's several types of life insurance, but when we talk the basis, we talk about term insurance. That is more so generated on, the rates and how we're able to buy more insurance for less. When we get into permanent policies, they do have a living benefit as well as a death benefit. So there's a lot of options. And what I recommend to people is sit down with a professional, go over, and again, it's all about being prepared, right? So once we think about and put a plan in place, then now the family can have that peace of mind. So I think it takes definitely some planning. because we don't like just throwing numbers out. We like to sit down and learn what our clients want to see happen and learn their vision, because once they have their vision, then it's my goal to help them reach that vision. And you asked about as far as the giving and community, where we're going. I can foresee of the next 5 years, we'll be fully launching our nonprofit, Be the Good Neighbor. And when we launch that, we'll continue to help those that are helping others, like the Doing Good, how they bring attention and how they are helping the market and bring attention to other nonprofits. We just want to be here and partner in and see how we can support. I believe if I can support the people that are supporting the people, we can have a greater impact.
What's interesting with that, and having been in the nonprofit world for some 25 years along with city management, there's always the question asked by a giver to nonprofit, or a board of directors making a grant, or an individual making a donation. How do I measure the results of what I've done? You're spending a huge amount of time barbecuing wonderful ribs and chicken and providing for the teachers. You're not ready to just stand in line and hope that everybody says, thank you, thank you, thank you. What do you expect from it? How many intangibles of emotional thanks and appreciation do you look at when you look at giving and contributing in a nonprofit?
I think I equate it to, it's kind of like it has become a part of my business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, it is a part of the very fabric of how I operate my agency. And, at my last location, I had on the door, "We are here to help." And I just see the giving and the food, I just see it as a part of what we do now. It is, my team members know that we are going to give and we're going to participate in the local community. And I think I measure that by the community response.
Mm-hmm.
Again, in I think 2021, 22, we were voted the Small Business of the Year by the Hendersonville Chamber of Commerce. And I just received the award a few weeks ago by from the Chamber of Men Impacting Business. So I think those things, when you see the community recognize and see the good that we're doing, that always makes us smile. But even being able to put a smile on each and every face, or that little kid that we see, and we can have the Jake cut out, and he gets a picture with Jake, and then we're able to give him a hot dog or something. That gives me the biggest joy. And then again, seeing people enjoy food is, I like seeing that. So.
You sound like me. Food is a very important aspect of life. A final question, getting back to the insurance world. I should probably say not a number, the overwhelming majority of our listeners all drive cars. And all drive cars that require or should have insurance. What do you recommend to the driver of today to not only protect themselves in life and limb, but to protect themselves from claims and running up your insurance bill because you've been filing claims? You've just been not a reckless driver, but a careless driver, or a driver that's concentrating on cell phone rather than on steering. What do you recommend to not only a driver, but a grandparent or a parent of a young driver, of taking it very, very seriously of how to drive?
Yeah, I think we have a program. It's called Drive Safe and Save. And the program, it's a telematics program where it's a Bluetooth device that actually monitors how the vehicle is driven. Clients get a discount for having that, and you can get up to a 50% discount on your insurance if you're the best driver in the world. So it is a ranking and scoring model to where you can personally impact your insurance rates. So when we do that, so it monitors things, how often do you slam on brakes, or are you going in curves too fast? And we've used that to help some clients see, like, hey, I know you said you're a good driver, but this is how it's working. This is the data that supports it. So, and then we have, for the best drivers, it continues to give them lower insurance rates. And that's something that, I think being proactive and slowing down and putting up the cell phone down and not being distracted is key to that.
It's fascinating.
As more people move to Middle Tennessee and more cars continue to get on the road, we need to pay a little bit more attention.
It's fascinating you mention that, because I was even going to ask that question, but hadn't thought of it. I have one of those little State Farm things on the side of my window, and I monitored. And when I initially put it on, I thought, is this Big Brother watching me driving? And Big Brother is watching me drive. But when I get the billing from State Farm and my auto insurance, and I look at it at my driving record and my age and my demographic, if you may, and my location of residency, I'm very happy to have somebody in a computer monitor me, because my premium on my particular car and my particular driving is significantly lower than I would be paying on the open market.
Yeah. And one of the things, and that is the number one thing that people say when we talk to them about it is, oh, Big Brother's going to watch me now. And today, my opinion on that is, with the technology in cars, Big Brother's already there.
Yeah.
With all the devices and everything we have, you're already being watched. So.
I'm going to put my grandson right on the spot. Zachary, shall I get one for you?
Well, now, Mom might not like to hear this, but I do have a little bit of a heavy foot, so that might show up, but I think I drive safe.
Oh, but you'd like Big Brother to be monitoring how you go around a curve, and how you stop, and
that's more Shelby.
That's one of his sisters. So I don't know whether we'll be working on that. Might be a question to ask my State Farm man. It has been it's been a wonderful experience, Bryson, talking to you this morning, and not only as a activist in the community with the doing good and keep up the great work. I got a little suggestion on that. If you do the appreciation for teachers again, just think about this for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You might extend an invitation to those clients of yours in the area who currently have children in that particular school, and that they can join and have lunch of the barbecue with their teacher.
That is a great idea.
So literally, if Joe Badoing Doing has a daughter in the 5th grade, and you're feeding that teacher of Joe Badoing Doing's daughter in the 5th grade, wow. And the way it's not a teacher-parent conference, it's a teacher-parent share the ribs and share the joy and share the good life.
That's right.
We'll be in touch, and thank you so very much for being a visitor on the WGNS Roundtable on this Thursday morning, and just keep up that great work. We need more men and women like you in our community.
All right. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Bye now.